year on moving to the adoption of the budget.
Right,
So these are all the changes that were made.
okay. And all of those are reflected in this one?
That's right.
Okay.
So the police went down, I mean, we get an explanation how they went down 130,000?
Yes, that was the, no, that actually, that was based on the arbitration, what we did in terms of the arbitration vote.
And then if there are some things that are in here or in the budget that I'm not comfortable with, then I would be good to vote no on this, is that correct?
You can, yes.
Okay, and then at what time, then when we had the public hearing, is that when?
Here's what'll happen.
Option to-
You introduce this ordinance for a public hearing. All that does is allows you to have a public hearing on these amendments. At the public hearing, the public has an opportunity to speak on any of these items. At that point, you could, and I don't think we will at that point, you could then adopt these individual amendments to the budget. What you're doing tonight doesn't adopt anything. All it does is you pass this resolution to amend the budget. These amendments get passed. Public hearing is scheduled. Then there has to be a final adoption of the budget.
I mean, Renee's got, want to talk about each of these different items before we vote on this?
No, I'm just trying to figure out tonight when we're asked to vote on this.
What is
I
it?
vote either in favor, in support of this, or not in support of it, what my vote actually means. And so I think
What-
you
here's
answered
what-
it.
no, and
because
let me clarify.
If a vote in favor of this means that I support these changes that are laid out here, then I don't support all of them and I need to get clarification. So I would vote no tonight. And
What would
that's-
happen is, a no vote tonight
Right.
means that,
If this just doesn't go to the county, so.
no, what it will mean is the budget as introduced, at the funding levels introduced, is what our budget is. This will reduce our budget by reduce the taxpayer's burden by $605. If you don't pass it, it stays as it is. And that's what you're doing. You're reducing the budget, $600,000.
Right, but if
With
we
all of
have a
these
public hearing
specific changes.
and we can reduce it more,
Yes, you can.
then why would we reduce it to just this if we could reduce it more?
This is not preventing us, and I see where Renee's going. If we pass this tonight,
Right.
we still have the ability of going back in and changing this because we're gonna have another amendment, and we can't have another amendment, which we can't possibly
You can-
reflect changes that are in here.
After the public hearing, you can amend the budget again.
So all this is doing is getting it off your plate today on these 5 pages. But we can still go back in and change these, so why
No,
vote?
No, you can make additional, I don't know why you want to,
We have
we
to
went
get
through
the
this,
public-
I don't
we have
know
to
why
get to
you
the
would want to
public
change
hearing.
this. You
This
can
gets
then
us to
add
the public.
additional, you can do additional cuts. If you had additional cuts you wanted to do, you could do that.
So then-
All of these cuts reflect, or what we've negotiated, particularly with the unions.
Right.
So there's no reason why not to approve what we've already negotiated with the unions.
If something on here goes through, if this goes through, and there's something that Renee or myself or somebody else finds in the next week or so, or 2 weeks, we have the ability of putting another
Yeah, you can
amendment
amend.
to this sheet that's here.
You can amend.
Well, let me give you a very pointed question. This particular budget puts money back into the library in an amount more than I want to put back in the library. So,
Let Carrie finish.
I know it's hard, but, so, are you saying that by approving this, at the next time we can go back and then reduce the library's budget more?
If you guys decide to do, you could.
We can change this up until the day that we all vote and adopt the budget.
If you change it by a certain amount, we would just have to advertise and have another public hearing.
But
Is there another way to get this to public hearing without us voting on this tonight? Like, can we
No.
just advertise, we cannot just have a public hearing without passing this tonight?
Correct.
Well, not the regular public hearing process.
official.
You can always have your own public meetings to
No.
discuss the
Okay.
budget, but this is trying to move the budget process
Okay.
forward, and it seems to me there are many opportunities for other ideas, although I recommend the council people talk to other council people so that we can get a majority to be able to change something, because obviously you're going to need a majority of the governing body to be able to make decisions.
Okay.
Do we, the only other question I have is, do we have any intention of reviewing the capital budget?
Yes, actually, I know you wanted to do that. We can do that at the, I was planning on doing it at the conference meeting, which is not a conference meeting, but
It's a hybrid
Next
meeting.
week's meeting.
Okay, so are we okay, we can move, well, we have enough information to be able to vote on this. Okay, if we're all good, I'd like to move us to a brief executive session. But first, I'd like to ask if the public would like to speak, because we have a habit of doing that. Although I would, please come up, if you can wait just a few minutes, well, nah, if you want to speak now, you're welcome to speak now. If you speak downstairs, you can be on camera, but.
Do you want, you can go be on my camera.
It's up to you.
Yeah, please, you have, yeah.
Well, you can do your executive
Well, no,
session.
if you want to speak now, it may take a while because we have some proclamations and other things. So you probably would not get before the camera for another 45 minutes. So
Okay.
I'll just say that we do hear public comment.